It's prime. We're 3 balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route. Mighty gets a scoring. Oh, and PJ start to scout. Your rhyme's really trash. What do you think he's damn fouls? TBI the show, so buckle down, sit back. And Jay we trust, cause he's the leader of the pack. It's prime, Jewball.
This is TBI, 3 balls in alongside Logan and Davo. This is PJ's. Here we are back at it again. Guys, a lot went on this week. We had some games, we had some league games, and of course, we're going to get into some nostalgia a little later in the show. But before we do that, Logan has the commissioner's address. Please let us know if the commissioner would like to address the Jewball.
All right, so first and foremost, I've got some word from the commissioner. He wrote this. I did not. This is not me. I'm literally speaking on behalf of the commish. But I'm going to read this. We're going to go through it, and then we're going to move on. Again, this is verbatim from Jordan. I realize 97% of Jewballers are indifferent. They just play ball and don't care or even notice the drama. I'm one of them. This statement is for the 3%. In its 30 years, every on-field and off-field clash has occurred in one form or another, and no one has ever lost a friend because of it. That's first and foremost. Every conflict is frustrating and infuriating in the moment. With some time, we realize the pettiness of it all. Our bond is unbreakable, period. I've been organizing games for Jewball for 20 years. I can't imagine anything will faze me at this point, meaning I guess on some level in myself, I trust. If the system wasn't going to work, it wouldn't have worked a long time ago. I'm not claiming perfection at all. I'm claiming that experience and track record have given me sufficient fuel to confidently go with my instincts and best intentions. My walking off the field yesterday was 50% performance art and 50% real disgust. I apologize for the performance art. Perhaps it's not the best way to get a point across. I was mostly trying to get a point across. As I told my team post-game, I do apologize, but I will always choose Jewball over team. That's been my position since well before leagues. If a position is healthy for Jewball and unhealthy for the team I am playing on that particular week, I will always side with the better for Jewball. Whether that disclosure should make me undraftable for leagues, I leave that to the captains drafting next year. If my current captain feels like my selection should be avoidable at this point, I respect that decision, 0 issues. As for the disgust, everything I'm about to say, I've said and written before. This is not breaking news. I wish more people chose Jewball over team. I wish everyone chose Jewball over team. I wish everyone processed situations with that primary principle in mind. I wish everyone wanted to go home after the game and, to the extent possible, feel as good about their losses as they did about their wins. Yesterday, I have to assume there was a conflict of interpretation. One side was confident that what they were arguing and how they were behaving was in the best interest of Jewball, and I felt otherwise. A decision had to be made. I took my 20 years of experience and best intentions and went with my gut. Is it possible I am objectively wrong? No. Is it possible that I am subjectively wrong? Of course. But I'm comfortable again because of the experience and because of the love I have for this group and this game. No decision will make everyone happy. I will attempt to explain and justify my call in the recap as I always venture to do. I felt terrible after the game. No amount of Solo's incredible beer selection could remedy my heartache. I love Mighty. I'm trying really hard to love Fight. Just kidding. I love Fight. I'm not exaggerating. Jewballers are my favorite people on the planet. You guys have no idea the extent I would go if needed by anyone in this group. I'm not alone in that sentiment. To the 97%, you don't care about any of this. Sorry for the self-importance. To the 3%, I hope this statement affords me some grace until the recap. That's our commish. I'll speak a little bit from the heart. You guys know where we fall out on this. I think TBI as a whole, we hate calls. We want no calls, no calls, no calls, no calls. The one silver lining I will take from this, and hopefully after this we can just move on, is that if people didn't care about the games, if the games weren't competitive, then people wouldn't be making calls. So I would much rather play in games where people care about the games and that these are close competitive games. I get that, and I'm grateful for that. But the calls are annoying. We hope we don't have to make them. But again, I love the intensity and I love the passion that everyone for Jewball has. I got nothing else to say about it. We beat this to death.
Yeah,
Boys,
no,
you got-
the only thing I want to add in, I think the three of us and many others love Jewball, and the reason why we do this weekly, we don't get a contract, we don't get paid. Maybe I do.
Okay, put that
But take a look at Davo. Davo over here has got a million ideas for Jewball every day. I mean, the things that he writes down in his journal every night before he goes to bed is because the guy loves Jewball. I think that Jordan does love Jewball more than the three of us combined, and I think that speaks a lot to the things that we've done over the years. And when it was Salem's daughter who was sick, who thank God is doing great, and joining together, making the home group, and contributing to different tzedakahs and different charity organizations. Whether it's this year we're giving gifts out. So whether you agree or disagree with the statement that Logan just read, just understand that we all respect Jay. Whether you're an IJWT or you're not, I think we have to respect the fact that the commissioner really means best for Jewball.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think that Jewball has transcended just the football games, and I think it's so much more. And I don't think anyone should ever lose sleep over a football game, especially in Jewball, because it's just for fun. We're not playing for trophies. We're playing for fun. Maybe sometimes for stats.
Hopefully not.
But why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
But
Why not?
but
We have
you
a
know-
website for a reason. Why not?
You know what? Let's jump into it though, because minus the calls, it was a great game on Sunday.
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of great games, you had a phenomenal game on Sunday. Can we just shout it out?
Phenomenal game every time. No, but let's go. I'll talk about it because I don't really talk about Top Guns. I think it was great to see Prey back.
Yes.
I think he's getting a little bit more healthy and a little bit more mobile every game, every week. And I thought he played a great game. Finally saw him back at safety. He had that.
Oh my, an incredible pick six.
I mean, he didn't really do anything, but
He ran it back though, which shows you that he's healthy enough to run it back. And
whatever, that play also was a great play by Steve-O. I think between Steve-O and Tabak, I think they are the unsung heroes of that game.
I mean, Tabak is coming
I
off
don't
having
know if it's unsung, right?
I mean, Tabak is coming off having a baby last week, where you're wondering whether he's going to play or not. And then he shows up, probably on very little sleep, and you would never know it. 2 touchdowns, just making catch after catch. Reliable all season, by the way. I don't think I've seen the guy drop a ball this season, but he's super reliable and just showed up yesterday and played an incredible game. So, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious he's going to be the Jewball of the game, but at the same time, just man, what a week.
I thought they played great. I think that they didn't miss MK or Goldberg at all.
But
because
because
the fact that when the draft was happening, you're looking at these guys going so late in the draft, and you're looking at it how is Steve going in
the seventh round, crazy.
Tabak in the sixth. These are great players that, okay, they might not get as many passes or as many looks, but that doesn't take away from their greatness. And I'm not saying anyone is denying that they play great. So I'm saying there's so much. The bench is so deep on a lot of teams that whenever these players come in, it's like you're not losing anything. It's okay. So Solo's not there. You might be losing. You're talking about the top tier players, but even still, once you get to that second tier, everyone is so close and everyone is so good. Everyone has the ability to score touchdowns. Everyone has the ability to play great defense and pull flags. And I think Bop, I don't want to say they wanted it more, but I think they just came out ahead at the end of it.
Listen,
it was a rumble tumble. They came out ahead.
It's 15-6. I stopped recording. There's about a half hour left in the game. It's 15-6. I'm thinking to myself, I don't. The Top Gun defense is too good right now. I don't see how they're going to give up points. And Bop was having trouble moving up and down the field. And then all of a sudden the pick six happens, and it just gave a life to a team that needed it. That was the turning point of the game. Even though Top Guns, fight hit you for a touchdown, I felt like the momentum was still on Bop's side, and you could just see it. I mean, you had a play that we're not going to get into, but where it's just a great throw to Tabak, and Tabak gets behind the defense and makes a great play. And
I wouldn't even say they had a momentum swing, because I feel like even though we were up, like you said, 15-6. And I think we were playing a little bit ahead. felt like that it was still such a close game because at any moment, like the teams were moving. And it was just close. It was a stop here, a stop there.
What is Top Gun's missing, Logan?
No, it's not. I don't know that necessarily missing that and I think unfortunately that type of question would take away from how Bob played. And to kind of sidestep your question, I really thought that game had two and a half storylines. The half storyline, the kind of the one that's going to get lost is the, like you had mentioned, the game that Davo had. Davo had a great game for Top Guns, and we don't want that to get lost, even though they were the losing team.
Right.
I think the two other storylines and things that we've been talking about. Number one is we've been a little tough on Fight, and I think Fight put up enough points yesterday to win. So
Fight had a good game.
I think so the first storyline, again, Fight coming around and seeing and showing us, the quarterback that we were used to seeing, let's say a year ago before his rib injury. The second storyline is that Bob very easily could have, late in the game, they're down, it's like 21, or they're down a touchdown, right?
It's 21-12, they're down.
They very easily could have gone into the huddle and said, look, we're missing Goldberg, we're missing MK. Like, whatever, we lose this game, who cares? We're still going to be in the playoffs, obviously.
Right.
They very easily could have said, look, these guys are playing well, and we're just going to, we'll take our foot off the gas and we'll call it a game and give up. And instead, they literally did the opposite. They took a 180 and they said, no, we're going to play with who we have on the field,
right,
and we're going to not only play with who we have, but we're going to shine, and we're going to outshine the other team. So I think that storyline of Bop not giving up and Bop really, pushing through, missing guys and doing whatever they needed to do to win, I think that's really like the main storyline of that first game.
And it took Solo some time, but he eventually got in there and gave some pressure to Fight towards the end of the game, which, again, it speaks volumes to who Solo is and the fact that he missed the last game for Bob. So let's see that he's back, and he's nursing some injuries, but he's getting back into it because he was playing hurdle. So I mean, listen,
I think I want to add another half storyline to you. I think Bert was a huge miss by all the captains.
I agree.
You've
been saying it for weeks now. We're seeing it on the field. So.
I think all my picks,
his line play
are right.
He doesn't have the stats to support it, but his line play, if you just watch the game and you're in the game, you see his line play is 10 times better than it was last year.
Yeah, he's a legitimate lineman.
Again, I don't know what that equates to next year in the draft, but of course he's definitely showing he's reliable, so that's huge. But Top Guns is missing something, guys, or someone, I should say.
Wins?
I believe it's the number one overall pick.
Yeah, Singer's had a tough year, and that's not nothing that he's at fault for. He's just been plagued with injury, and sometimes it's crazy because in the offseason, all we saw and all we heard was how hard he was hitting the gym. He's in great shape.
I know.
And sometimes it's just bad luck. It is what it is. He's not normally a guy who's injury prone. It's not like a RG3 who's always on the sideline.
Until he has to run away to go to his baby.
But here's the question, right? Without a healthy Singer at this point, you guys are.
I mean, if you take Zinn off of Roll Tide, they're not going to be as
right.
Good, right?
So agreed. But I think right now you're 1-3, right? Bottom.
I don't think we won.
Yeah, we did. We beat Lionhearts.
Yeah,
we were there.
That's good. That goes without saying.
You're 1-3 on the season.
The one we could have played.
You're 1-3 on the season. Singer has missed two and a half of those games.
So I'll say this about about Top Guns also. The last thing I'll say is that I think we played our most cohesive game yet.
Offensively.
It just all around. I think even defensively, I know we beat Lionhearts, but I think this game we played better. We were more gelling of a team. Everyone was coming together for the most part. But Bop had a hell of a game. So had Prime had a touchdown. Tabaka had a game. Steve had a pick. Steve also caused the pick six.
Right.
Punched it out. I don't want to say he shut down Jack, but he played good defense against Jack.
He plays well against tall receivers.
Jack still had a touchdown over him, but again, the play you're going to talk about most is the play where Jack obviously loses the ball and it falls into Price's hands. So
I don't even know. I don't know if it's considered a catch, not a catch. I think it's one of those things that it was so close, it wasn't worth arguing, and no one was going to argue it.
All right, we got to transition though, because there is a team out there right now that is probably sitting there. If they're watching TBI, they're thinking to themselves, "All right, guys, get past this game. Talk about us." And that is the the toll ride, because every time you play them, you are paying a lot to get through that toll. Guys, Open is the best lineman in Jewball, and there is no debate statistically or anything about it.
No, I mean,
Open
statistically, there is an argument. Right?
No, there isn't. He's right now second in sacks. And
So that would not make it best.
but he's played less games than Kuti. So he's played less games than Kuti. He's got basically the same amount of sacks. But offensive line, by the way, so it's not just the defensive line, but offensive line, he's impenetrable. You cannot penetrate him. And then
as open as his legs are, there's no penetration.
I'm just saying, Logan's got up against him yet.
All I have to tell you is you guys may think you know the secret sauce, but I guarantee you Rubbin will find a way.
So the point is right now is that team, I mean, early on, Morty Dax, had a couple of drops, but
in the end,
he dropped one in the end zone. But on that same drive, I mean, you talk about a guy like Waldo with 2 touchdowns in the game yesterday. I mean, he just Swirly Dax just finds anyone and anyone at any time.
Yeah, I think that's the main storyline of that.
It doesn't make a difference who his receivers are at this point. The guy finds people open. He finds the mismatches that he wants, and he attacks them. And even as a quarterback in the pocket, he knows exactly where he wants to stand. He knows exactly where the linemen are coming. He anticipates the line really well. He's shifty back there. He ran a touchdown yesterday as well. He had a couple other good runs as well. I mean, the guy is just showing you that, yes, does he play better with Zinn? Does he play better with his brother? I mean, Dax had 2 touchdowns yesterday. Zinn had a touchdown, of course. But at the same time, they were defense, by the way. And I don't want their defense to be forgotten there either. Open with 4 sacks yesterday, Legs with 2 sacks. They were just dominant overall.
But I think the storyline, like if you think about it, so let's say I told you Roll Tide had 6 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. And then I would have asked you, how many touchdowns did Zinn have? You would have thought like 3, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? The fact that Dax was able to do 6 passing touchdowns, only 1 to Zinn, and then run like that, I think is the biggest storyline. He's letting everyone contribute.
But here's the part where I think is going to get confused. Yaron did not throw a single pick yesterday, right? What's been the knock on Yaron in all the years of Jewball, right? Is that he throws those inexcusable picks at times where you're just like, what is he doing? Where is he throwing it? Right. He did not do that yesterday. I mean, he misfired some throws, but he was not terrible. The line of open legs, and in addition, they were rushing 3, which totally shocked the offensive line. They were not expecting it. It was Dax who's going in on the blitzes. They just were overwhelmed back there, where Yaron had no time to throw the football. So the back end of the D didn't really have to do much.
Yaron is not good at picking up the third blitz.
Right.
I think a lot of people have it's not just Joe Rogan. I think a lot of quarterbacks struggle with that.
So listen, at the end of the day, Roll Tide, they continue to roll. They're the top team. They've been the top team. There's no debating there. And their talent is really strong. And right now, until they're beaten, they're the best team. And they look like winning the championship at this point. Again, you don't want to, again, it's not playoff time, but they look like winning the championship. It's almost a foregone conclusion at this point.
Well, okay. Eli Manning wasn't the best quarterback, but one of the best traits is availability, and they have had availability this whole season. Not to jinx them or anything, but being healthy definitely helps. I know Lionhearts has been hurt. You were missing Sting, you were missing Zada. Those are 2 really big pieces.
Previous games.
Every previous game, he's coming back. He's definitely not 100%.
Sam had flu-like symptoms. He had to back out early.
Missing players definitely hurts.
And then, of course, you add an addition who's not used to the team as well. Like that's hard to figure out. Where
Biggie,
dude, he only got the 400-page playbook 3 days ago.
By the way, there is a playbook. That's the crazy
is.
Part. Yeah, there is a great playbook.
But listen, there's so much we can say about Roll Tide because they're so amazing. But you said Yaron was not terrible. That's also another way of saying that he was not good. And I think...
a lot of the reasons he wasn't good may not have been his fault.
It wasn't his fault.
I'm not going to say it's his fault, but he needs to play at his top level with the team that he has to be able to compete with.
Well, we've seen what happened when Lionhearts is rolling.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
When they played Top Guns, first game of the season.
No, they played.
Roll Tide.
They beat them.
When they played Roll Tide, Yaron had a great game.
Affair.
All his players were there. Again, just goes to the league showing how on any given Sunday.
That's exactly it. Listen, at the end of the day, listen, league weeks have been incredible. It's going to continue to be incredible. Just keep showing up, keep doing what you're doing, everybody. So listen, here's the thing. Let's look forward to 2 weeks from now when we got the next game, and you're featuring a huge matchup of Bop versus Roll Tide, and of course you have Lionhearts featuring Top Gun. So
we're playing you.
So
Wait, so Roll Tide is 3-1.
yes.
Live-
Bop is 2.
He wins and they win.
And
Bop's is 2-1-1, and of course Lionhearts is 1-2-1, and then the Top Gun's 1-3. Listen, it's gonna be fun. We have 2 weeks until that happens.
so listen, Roll Tide locks up first place with a win, and Top Guns locks up last place with a loss.
All right, boys, we have our guest this week. It's a nostalgic guest, and it's been somebody who does not play a lot of Jewball often, but when he does, he makes an impact. Welcome to TBI.
How much did you drink today?
It's none other than Spira.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Welcome. You trying to show off your muscles there? It looks good.
Jordan took some videos of me last when I was there. I was a week and a half ago or so, and I said to him, it's not very flattering, but I look very heavy. But I just want to let him know it's not all fat. It's like 85% fat, but a little bit of muscle here, but not enough.
Nice.
So he called me out though. He called me out. He's like, dude, you look fat. Get in shape.
He's just trying to intimidate Solo.
Now, Spira, here's the thing. Today it was an anomaly. Obviously, there's supposed to be a big New Year's game today. It didn't happen. It's coming off of what was an incredible Sunday of football. Some people are banged up and hurt. Some people just, babysitting other issues, kids were in school. But you got to play last week, right? In Jesus Bowl. Compare Jewball what it is now. You played a little bit last year also, but compare what you see today with Jewball versus the Jewball you played in 20 years ago.
Okay, so actually, I got into week, I guess it was 12. So I didn't have to play. I didn't play in. I actually got to play in a legit league game for the first time. So first of all, like what's really impressive is the quarterback play. Just to start from there, like we had okay quarterbacks, but like, and Jason Katzenstein, which I've written about. It's in like the league's lore that Jordan has posted, but. You guys got 4 quarterbacks there, each with like legit skills where you can't sleep on them. You can't really like pull up a defense that will like a gimmick defense that will just stop them. You got to really play each one honestly. If you're on the line, you can't just like tee off on them. It's really rough. You don't have a team that's like, oh, well, they get the quarterback and the other team gets like 4 receivers because they're screwed. This is a really high talent from the quarterback play. And also there's a lot of speed, a lot of youth, but there's a lot of not just fast, but just like scary fast guys on the field that it's a lot of talent. That's really what I would just, what it comes down to.
I love that. Just going back to some of your playing days. So who was the biggest hitter or flag grabber, if you will, back in the day?
So we didn't grab any flags.
Neither do I.
David, I know. That is, by the way, I got to tell you, like, that's the worst part. I suck at pulling flags. I think I got a sack on prey, but like, I think Jordan said to me, you got like 3 sacks, except you pulled the flag just once. I was like grabbing and grabbing and grabbing and grabbing. Then once, I'm like, oh, okay, finally I got it. So we just played 2-hand touch. And there's a guy, David Sokow, who literally took every single opportunity to like just chuck somebody. When he had the ball, if he caught the ball, if you tried to 2-hand touch him, he would just like try to barrel you over and he'd knock you down and he'd be like, it's not 2-hand touch. I'm like, dude, I had my hands on you and that's how you threw me. So he wasn't just big and strong. He loved to hit people. He played catcher. They changed the rule in the softball league because he would just like plays at home. He would just like his eyes would light up. He knocked people down. And he loved it. So yeah, he was a hitter.
Big hitter. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Listen, obviously back in the day you had carrier pigeons to sound if there was a game or not. but now we have a chat. And you're actually pretty active on the chat sometimes. Mm-hmm. So here's my question. It could be 3 weeks without you saying a message. Are you reading every message? And follow-up question, do you watch TBI?
Okay, so I will say that there are some days where I want to call you like proper reading, but it's like People Magazine, because I got two girls.
It's kind of like, if I had Chinese the night before, I'll read every message.
Exactly.
If I didn't, then I'll probably just
Yes.
skip through and catch up.
Some days, sometimes it's just like, okay, what are we doing? Like, I got time.
I got time.
So, like, and I'll catch up on like 400 posts. It's kind of entertaining. And I do watch TBI, not religiously. It's kind of hit or miss depending on the week, especially if I played or if something happened in like the league games and that sort of thing. I'll pay attention. Like, the one thing that I'm so struck by, and it's kind of weird because I'm like, am I being creepy? And the answer is yes. But like, I know you guys for a total of like 14 minutes, right? Like, we played, and yet there's an element of, when I read, you guys are filled with personalities, and that's one thing that like goes back even back then. Like, there were a ton of personalities who played the game, and that's what like clearly is really cool about this group. Like, there's just no lack of personalities and embracing the personalities. It's not like, don't make waves, be nice to everybody. It's like, no, let's have a good time. And I think that was a lot about, the people who we played with back then, and it's carried over to now, which is, I think, really awesome.
Which players from yesteryear do you think could hang today, besides yourself and Jordan, obviously?
Okay, so Jason Katzenstein, who we've had a discussion, I think, on like what he was about. He could play quarterback with anybody. Crazy arm, really slippery fast. As good as any quarterback, I think that there is there in this group. But like, he played in Israel ball, and he was like a serious quarterback there. Another guy, Barton Gersten, who like, he came down to play Jewball, and like he would come and like take off a trench coat, and then he'd take off his black jacket, and then he'd play in his Shabbos shoes. Like, and he was just,
Hey, he's PJs.
like, he had like spar him, and he'd like put his spar him down and like play ball. And he had crazy arm strength, and he was a brilliant player, mobility. And then there was a guy who like missed out, this guy, Chuck Frank, who played high school football. Like, this guy was solo jacked, maybe a little bigger, but he's still ginormous. He still like bench presses 245, and he's 45 years old, and he played linebacker in high school, and he didn't get to play line. So he was always at a disadvantage because his bulk never was able to like translate. Like, imagine Solo trying to cover Zinn. Like,
he wants to play safety, by the way.
He does.
Like, I think like Chuck basically at the line just would want to just level you, but he'd try to catch up. But if he was playing the line now, he'd definitely be a very dominant force. So those like three guys, I think SoCal would love playing line. David SoCal would love playing line. And there are a couple of guys but I think those are three names with like the revamped format would really still be very effective. Like, still, Jewball quality, Jewball level players, like, they'd be in the mix, on the rated chart.
Now, I'm going to ask you another question, a follow-up question here. Are you a tad bit jealous the fact that we've got Hanukkah parties, we've got draft parties, we've got summer barbecues occasionally? Like, does that bother the camaraderie, the chat, like all the things that are happening at TBI? Like, do you feel like had Jewball had those things 20 years ago, maybe some of these guys could have sustained and lasted longer?
So jealous, yes, not bothered, just to be clear.
I like that. By the way, I like that. That's a great distinction. That's a great distinction.
Yeah. So I might have my wife might have divorced me. Like, you guys. So I don't know how you guys completely get away with all of this, but so all the more power to you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool just to be able to have, a group of people who, I don't know, people get together and they're like, oh, let's talk about, I don't know, just let's talk like fancy football or, baseball or whatever it is that they spend their time on. And here you guys like, and it's good. You have something common to talk about, but this is a lot more fun. And I think that it's pretty awesome that there's an off the field component, and that, you get together, there's this clear ferocity, during the games. but then afterwards you guys have a really nice time together and have, buying each other baby gifts. Like that's really amazing to have that sort of, relationship with everybody you play with. So jealous for sure.
Amazing.
That's fabulous. Who is your least favorite Jewballer?
They don't watch the show, you could say.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
are we talking about, like,
Rabin doesn't watch.
unless it's Jordan or Rabin, you're good.
Rabin doesn't watch.
throughout history, or are we talking about like
I'll take both.
Yeah.
I'll take both, or dealer's choice.
Yeah, it's up to you.
dealer show? I'm still gonna I'm gonna bring him up. David SoCal, like the guy was
The guy who chuck everybody.
The guy.
he would love to injure. Like he was a great guy.
By the way,
off
you'd
field.
be shocked to hear this. He subscribes to TBI.
I would not be
He's gonna come
surprised.
jumping through that window, just
And
literally, just like missile right through.
Right. No, and he would thank you. He'd be like, "Thank you for giving me the excuse to kick your ass." So he is one of my favorite and least favorite, because like literally I'm like, I would come and it's like it's all about fun and like nobody's looking to hurt anybody. Like things, sometimes you pull this, that, but like nobody's looking to hurt anybody. But like SoCal was kind of hurt somebody. Like he wouldn't be upset. Like he'd be upset for you, but he'd be happy with himself. So so that's one thing. I'm going to go ahead and also say that, and I say this with all the love in the world, but Jordan, the fact that he's like 45 years old and Jordan, 44 years old.
And like
3 more weeks.
in like 7 days.
For another like day and a half. But like he's running around at like crazy full speed.
Yeah.
Like I can, some days I'm able to run full speed and I'm able to I'll have like a play and a half where I'm like keeping up with everybody. But like he's somebody where I was like, oh, where's Jordan? We got to match somebody up on him. And so I do slightly hate that about him. Also, again, that he's
I feel like that also falls under the jealous but not bothered, right?
Yes, that's exactly it. And I also do hate him for like making me feel like crap about getting fat and old. But also love for the fact that he's inspired. He is inspiring me. I do need to, like I was saying to somebody, I'm like, I'm 3 touchdowns away from being 3 touchdowns down. So But I got to get 3 touchdowns. At least I got to score at least 3 touchdowns within the next couple of months. So Jordan's like up my ass about it, which again, it's annoying, but like he's right.
Talking about Jordan.
I love it.
Yeah,
no, I love it.
All right, Spira, we appreciate you coming on. Feel free to come on anytime you want. This was great. It was nostalgic for us. I mean, I love the history of Jewball, so this was awesome.
Yeah, I will say you guys do an awesome job, and it's a lot of fun to be, the entertainment that you guys bring, and the fact that like random people, like a bunch of guys who play football together, are going to tune in on like a Monday or a Tuesday night and are sitting there like, when's TBI coming out? That's crazy.
The hardest thing is for me to explain to people what it is.
Yes.
I'll be like, so we have this pickup game that has this chat, that has this league,
that also has a podcast,
that has a YouTube show that comes out Tuesdays that people watch
religiously,
and all we talk about is what we did 2 days ago.
Right. So it's a bunch of old guys who are just like reminiscing and trying to reclaim their youth. Well, no. Oh, so it's a bunch of young guys who have nothing better to do with their time. Like, no. It's just like
it's somewhere in the middle,
right? It's a marriage
in between there.
I'm pretty sure it's got a name. It's called the Cult.
It's a cult.
I do want to say, by the way, it is not surprising. Like I sat next to Jordan in biology, amongst other classes in high school, and he, like, one of the coolest things I will give him a shout out, and it's worth mentioning. Like, he is, and I actually want to clear my name on one thing, which is he was like magnetic. Everybody, like, he was friends with everybody, even if you weren't like great friends with him. He always was like fun and interesting and always treated everybody well, but at the same point in time brought this great intensity to everything he did. And I'm not surprised that he so that's not a cult. And the other thing is, I was thinking about, I'm like, why would I ignore Jordan? Like, he's always like, oh, he ignored me when he came down. And probably in all likelihood what happened was, like, I set up the field for like 7-on-7. or 6-on-6 or whatever else we had. And I didn't want to make it too wide because Katz and Steve would run all over us, but I wanted to make it wide enough so that the defenses would like have a chance, but wouldn't be able to just like clump in. And then probably Jordan came down like 5 minutes late and was waiting on the side. And I was the guy who made the field. And I'm like, oh, I got to go remake the field because these two people decide to get late. I had like a flashback when Jordan was yelling at everybody else and saying like, if you come late, you don't get the ball. And I'm like, that's what happened. That is what happened. You came late, you screwed up the game. And I'm like, no, I'm going to pretend like you're not here because I'm going to have to redo the field because it's not set up for the number of people. So I'm going to go with that story and blame Jordan for that. And I appreciate you guys having me on. I am looking forward to in the next couple of weeks trying to get to another real game because I love the intensity that you guys bring on real weekend. You know, the Cheeses Bowl, Thanksgiving Bowl, I get it. They don't count so much. And I want to get some stats, you know, not that I care about stats, not that I care about stats, but I want some stats.
Just wait for some snow.
Yeah.
Is that it? That's right. All right. I got one sack and one tip ball. I know they don't count, but
there you go.
No, sacks count. Anyway.
You got a sack.
Thanks for joining us, brother. Cheers, man.
Thanks, guys.
Care, man.
Bye-bye.
Be well. Wow. You know, I'm nostalgic, but that was so nostalgic. Spira was incredible. And again, for those of you who are young and you just joined Jewball, or even if you've been in Jewball for the last 5 years, maybe this is a guy you never knew about, but man, like just hearing the stories about things were like, I've been in Jewball since 2007, 8, like around that time. You know, you guys a little bit after that, but like
a lot after that.
Yeah, well, but I'm just saying, like, you know, just knowing there was stuff like 10 years prior to that in Queens and just hearing from it from Spira, incredible stuff. All right, Davo, take us into 3 stats in. You got it.
No.
Oh, wait, so let's go through the standings.
You are currently
You got one.
1-8.
1-8, and I am currently 4-1.
No, you don't get a one.
Kuti gave me a 1.
No.
Kuti gave me a 5. I'll go with Kuti. Kuti gave
So
me
then take a 5 and 4. We're not going with ties. I've seen your sister. All right. Now let's keep going.
There's no extra points in 3 stats in. Okay.
Right? So 5 and 4. I'm 1-8. Let's go. Let's go.
4-1.
All right.
Lord have mercy.
Dave, is there a theme or is it?
So yes, this week's 3 stats in has a theme: zeros to heroes, and this.
Ooh, I like it. Spicy.
We talked about.
Oh, but can I stop for a second? This is the last man standing stout. This is a props to Davo. He brought this. This is from the South Shore Craft Brewery. He brought these tonight. Thank you, brother. This is great. It's reminiscent or a little nostalgia from the Hanukkah party. Anyway, keep going.
Good then. It's good now.
Exactly.
Zeros to heroes. So we're talking about people that are on team benched.
Ooh.
Okay. The first one obviously is always the easiest, and we get harder questions every time.
I love it. Let's
This
go.
is my best chance.
There are 2 possible answers to this question. So
Do we need to get both, or we can get either?
We'll take either one.
Yes.
If you get both, you can get an extra point because he has got a tie, so you can get an extra
He
point.
doesn't get a tie. That's 5 and 4. Keep going.
Which one of these benched players finished top 10 in sacks last season?
The problem is I don't really know who's on team benched. So that's a great question.
It's really anyone who was not drafted.
No,
in
I
the first 8
know,
rounds.
but
I gotta go.
is it possible Davo? Did he know last night? Did he play line? Is it? I don't know why I whispered that. Everyone, it's like I'm.
But also, like, I don't really consider him team bench because he's in the top. Of the
Is he?
world.
Wait, is he not eligible?
I am benched. I'm original team bench, but I left the group chat. So that's what
No,
he
no.
was saying.
But also, Richard was like, 8 guys could show up. Now it's 9. So, like, at first, the 8th round wasn't really. It was also part of team bench.
8th round is considered team bench.
Yeah.
Who else? So 10th. So
Bert's got to be in there.
but was Bert? He played a lot less.
He's got to play a bunch to be top 10 in sacks.
But he's most improved, so he couldn't have been top 10.
I think he's top 10 in sacks.
Do you think it's Bert?
I'm going Bert. Davo. I mean, Davo's probably there also.
I'm gonna go with Davo.
The answers are Bert and Davo. David with 9 and Bert with 7.
It's only 2 because I said
No,
was first.
no. Fine, you're 6 and 4. You're 6 and 4.
Okay, that was a good job. Good job, guys.
Damn, that's a good question.
That was good. I
Nice.
like that.
I like it.
From zeros to heroes. I love it.
Okay, which bench player
Ooh.
threw for the most
You know which bench player.
threw for the most touchdowns of any player
I know
throwing
this.
touchdowns for the team?
I know this answer.
Oh, it's gotta be Rabin.
Oh wait, in a single game?
No, not a single game
Oh,
for the season.
Oh, it's gotta be Rabin.
well, I mean,
He's the only.
I
Wait.
thought you meant in a game.
Perla is not in the team bench because
Correct. Perla's
it's
not
gotta
team
be
bench, he was
Rabin.
not.
No, you mean like which quarterback has had the most touchdowns over an entire season?
In last season. It's all from last season. Everything's
It's
from last
gotta be
season.
Rabin.
Yeah.
Well, Snow.
No, Snowden, he played a bowl
played-
game.
Still played a bowl game.
Doesn't count. That doesn't count.
It's gotta be Rabin.
The only other possibility would be Bensi. What round was he picked in?
Oh, you're right.
Waldo, what round was he
no,
picked
end of the 7th round.
No, so he's not even team bench. So it's gotta be Rub.
It's gotta be
It's
Rabin.
gotta be Rubin.
It is not Robin.
Wow.
Though Snow did play in a few real games.
Wait, how many touchdowns did he throw?
He threw 7.
That's more than Robin.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow. I deserve that to be wrong.
Wait a minute. This was just last season's stat?
Yeah.
Just last season.
Wow.
That's
He was
Robin. Come on. Come on, man. 7. You had to beat 7. 7.
Good for
The
Snow.
Friends
Good
reference.
for Snow.
Good for Snow. 7.
Okay. Last question.
By the way, Davo, so far 2 for 2. Great question.
Yeah, I like this.
This player led the group of bench players in touchdowns last season,
Receiving touchdowns.
receiving touchdowns, or just touchdowns in general, meaning not throwing touchdowns. Could be pick sixes also.
Interesting.
Is Rook on team bench?
Yeah,
Is
but
on
but
team
not
bench.
this season. Last season.
I know.
Rook is on team
Rook
bench this
had
season.
a ton of touchdowns last year.
Having us on this
Can we
road,
go
though.
through Can we go through some options of like who's on team bench?
Yeah, of course.
Well, Davo, how many? No, Davo's not on bench.
Davo is on team bench.
I am on team benched.
But part of me thinks Rook had more touchdowns than
I think
Davo.
Rook had a great season last year.
Yeah, he had a good year last.
Is Ernie's not on bench, right?
No, he was 6th round.
Ernie's not on bench. Rook is on bench.
I'll go through your team. Top on bench. You have Bert, Bosch, yourself,
I had like
and Davo. And you look at
so
Bob.
just one second. So of those, Davo's
Bob,
of those, Davo's the only option.
Right, Bob. You have Veg. You have Tom.
Ooh, Tom.
Could be Tom. You
It
have
could
Veg.
be Tom. Yeah,
You
Tom had a bunch of like 2
Tom
touchdown
had a
games.
lot
You know
of
what I mean? Like,
You have Veg.
okay, keep going.
Veg, Tom, Snow,
Well, he
and-
didn't catch any.
and right, and you had
Perfect.
and you have Playmaker. And
No,
then
those not held. Okay. So far we got possible Tom and David. Keep going.
Linehart bench is Sam, Vicky, and PJs.
Okay, keep going.
And then you have Roll Tide. They have Rook, they have Whiskey, they have Moore, and
Or had a bunch of 2 touchdown games too.
who am I missing?
No, they didn't get a last pick. There was no last pick.
Don't forget, Logan had
Balls in, then we 3
That was
balls
all
out.
my touchdowns.
We all up on your screens like it's prime time
I
round.
only had 3 touchdowns last year. The year before I had 6. I only had 3 last year.
The fact that you know that. I think it's either Tom. You know, Moore is
Right.
like a sneaky.
It's-
Moore could be a sneaky pick.
It's Rook or Tom. It's Rook or Tom.
Well, I'm probably going to be wrong, so I will go with Tom.
I'm going with Rook.
And the answer is Tom.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. He had a
Wow.
bunch of like these weird, not weird, but like where he played tight end a lot. He had a lot of 2 touchdown games.
He was loved by Gronk, loved by
it's
Snow.
true.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, definitely.
People love him, not Bird.
So I am now.
You are now 3 and 9.
That's
4.
not bad. It's
3, yeah.
no 3,
3 and 9. I'm 6 and 6. There you go.
and you lost your 1. I love it. That's a win. That's a win right there.
And
all right,
that is
Davo,
3
so-
stats in.
Davo,
Yes,
great job.
you got it.
Great job.
Great question.
Oh, look at that. We should end right here.
We are going to.
Oh,
Do it. Get it right here.
Biggie's hug of the week.
Happy League Week, Jewballers, and Happy New Year. This week saw two teams lose, Top Guns and Lionhearts. You know, there's a man, and he is fast, and he needs a hug. Mighty, I will follow you in your calls. This week, you've got my hug. Everybody, let's follow my lead and listen to Mighty when he makes a call. All right, everybody, have a good week, and we'll see you out there. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Biggie.
Thank you.
By
Thank you.
the way, gotta say, I'm glad someone said it. Yeah, and Mighty needs a hug. Give Mighty a hug. Send him a hug. Everyone should give Mighty a hug. Steven the Street, give him a hug. Go around the corner, give him a
Let's
hug.
go right now.
Everyone go give him a hug. Gentlemen, this was a great show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. David, what are they supposed to do?
For week 13 above, don't forget, Tuesday night, Lionhearts are playing for the finals, as well as Wednesday night, Roll Tide / something Warriors are also playing for the finals. Two big games, possible potential game for those nights. As always, don't forget, what are we?
Devo.
Devo, what
Three
about
balls in?
Devo, what are we?
We're 3 balls in. That's what I said.
And we are now 3 balls out. Have a great week, everybody.
We're 3 balls in and we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time sprout. Mighty.
Sign up for League Week.
No.
Nah, not League Week. But whatever. It's
Sorry.
you know,
I was like, no.
Spirit said League Week, and I just got confused.
It was right call. No, it was right call. It's right call, though.
That's so stupid.
All right.
Let's go.
This is TBI 3 balls in alongside Davo and Logan. I'm your host, PJs. Here we are back at it again. A little bit of a nostalgic episode, which we'll get to later. Some recaps of this week's show. I'm going to redo that.
Recap this week's
I know.
Oh, it'd be great if we recap the show. Can you imagine if we like had the show playing up
I
here?
needed an outtake. There you go.
No, that's good. But like, have the show just going here. Hey, this is where Logan points too much with his hands.
All right.
Let's see. Is there Zoom issues? Let's see. Is it one of those?
I think it's.
Well, he may not have been expecting the admit.
Let me text him.
Could you imagine if we weren't recording this whole time? There he is.
And welcome to Jewball. Welcome to Jewball. Welcome to